going to do another test recording real quick, make sure things are working if you want to test that out too.
I am going to commit violence.
I'm very excited to hear about that violence. It looks like we're good to go.
I mean, I have Mega Beedrill. What the fuck do you want from me?
Friendship.
No.
Okay, if you say so.
The bee does not do friendship. It only does kill.
I mean, that's fair. Alright, well, hello and welcome everybody back to Double Dip Draft. I am Cabral, coach of the Cincinatti Sandslashers. Joining me today is...
Aurora of the Hartford Honchkrows, and we're going to be taking a look at the Platinum Division and how all the teams measure up.
Yes, and starting off on our tier list is not quite the right word for that. Starting off on our list today is Spood of the Southtown Sandslashers. He's joined us in the other divisions and analyzing them. I'm sure you know his face and his velvety voice. He has a interesting team this year, starting off with Deoxys Defense in S tier, Grimmsnarl and Zapdos Galar rounding out A tier, with B tier having Arachnid and Metagross. Crowgonal, Drampa, Hoopa, and Typhlosion are in C tier, and rounding out the bottom is Emolga, Sandslash, and Wigglytuff.
Yeah, immediately this looks like a team whose MO is just like, the first 2 to 3 hits are not gonna kill me. Like Deoxys defense, name speaks for itself, Jesus Christ. Grimmsnarl, very annoying typing to work against. Prankster to, do any kind of trickery stuff.
Yep.
Flying Fighting from Zapdos is also just like a very funky typing that you have to like sit down and think from like, what are the weaknesses of that again? Because like the only other one, the only other one is fucking Hawlucha. It's like, you kill that thing with anything. You don't have to care.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arachnid, a special beast. Like, this thing's special defense is very high. And, same with Deoxys.
Yep.
Metagross, just bulky in general.
Crowgonal, also bulky in general.
Well, not in general. Bulky on the special side specifically. Like, the physical side is actually very frail.
That's okay, he can switch
from
to
there,
a physical defense thing.
Yeah, from there it mostly drops off, with the only exception really being Wigglytuff with a base 140 HP. It's just a sack of health.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that also gets competitive for whatever reason.
Also, don't forget Hoopa defensively too. Special defense at 130.
True, but its typing is a bit lackluster.
That's true.
Like, one of the quote-unquote most free moves to spam when somebody's switching out but you don't know to what is knockoff.
Yeah.
And Hoopa does not like knockoff. It's gonna kill it outright for basically no matter what.
Yeah, that's very true. Knockoff mean.
Yeah, and knockoff in general, we have a Psychic type as his S tier, a Psychic Steel type as one of his B tiers, Hoopa. Like, he's gonna be wanting to be careful because his items are going to be threatened constantly, I feel.
Yeah, that's definitely the case here. He's got some great covers though for hazard setting with spikes, rocks, and sticky webs with Arachnid, which is really nice. He does have 2 rapid spinners and 3 defoggers.
Yeah, especially with Deoxys, it's not going to be a problem for Spood to get up the hazards that he wants.
Yeah.
Deoxys getting both rocks and spikes, not dying, it's gonna get them up very easily. It gets recover, so it can hold out if something is assailing it.
Yep.
The thing that I find a bit more difficult is yes, Spood does have hazard control to go along with it, but the only spinners are Cryogonal and Sandslash, who are not ideal for the job.
Yeah.
Both are frail on at least one side, Sandslash being a lot more specially frail, Cryogonal being physically frail, and also Sandslash is slow. So Sandslash usually will get kills before it gets the spin-off that it wants.
Hey, if
Cryogonal is a bit...
I was just going to say, if it does get a spin-off though, that's +1 speed, so it helps a little bit.
Hell yeah, it's a fucking like base 50 speed, it gets +1, it's still slower than everything.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Cragnell is a lot faster, so it can get the spin-off more reliably, but it is very vulnerable to physical priority, Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, E-Speed, all with a decent dent in it. So if it already like came in, took 25 from rocks, which it probably won't, because you're probably gonna give this thing boots.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
Anything going on? Let's see. Cleric, he's got Wigglytuff, which is fine, does good. Priority, by the way, is great on his team.
Yeah, we've got Bullet Punch from Metagross, E-Speed from the Deoxys defense, which is not the greatest, but it's there. Ice Shard spam, even from Pokemon that are like not as like offensive on the physical side. Like just having an Ice type priority move can be like the killing blow on a lot of things.
Yeah, it really can. Especially those ground flying types that are scattered throughout here. I think there's only 2 in... Well...
We have both Gligar and Gliscor in this division, but we'll get to those later.
Well, we also have Zygarde in this division as well.
Yeah, but again, we'll get to that later.
We'll get there later. Either way, tons of knockers.
That, like, tons of knockers, tons of taunters, a bunch of like momentum gaining. If Spood wants up screens, he's gonna get up screens. Both Grimmsnarl and Deoxys defense can get both. Cracknell can also set up screens, which is likely like gonna be a large part of its utility outside of spinning.
Yep, gotta get at that Rorvale Hail.
Yeah, Cracknell does have the what do you call it? Like the left data ability, so it can come in on like more things than you would expect. So it is like a bit better in that regard, but it's still not. A better spinner is always appreciated.
Yeah, definitely is. His type coverage is pretty well rounded this season as well, taking a look at it.
Yeah, there really is no like one type that is gonna run through the majority of Spood's team.
Probably rock.
Like unresisted. It's like he has like roughly like as many resists for things as he has weaknesses. And usually like his weaknesses tend to stack up on his lower tiers.
Yeah.
The biggest quote-unquote problem I would say is Fairy, probably. Is only like Metagross and Typhlosion are there to cover for it, neither of which recover.
Yeah.
And like a lot of his like bigger threats are forced out by it, mostly Grimmsnarl and Zapdos Geller.
Yeah, but at the same time, like we have been saying before, he does have a lot of bulk on his team to be able to deal with any of those issues.
Yeah, despite the fact that Deoxys does not resist it, for instance, it is not going to really care being hit by neutral moves.
Yeah.
I think that is most of what we have to say about Spood's team. It is a very well-rounded team, but nothing like outstanding like speed-wise, like at least like by default. Like speed is gonna have to come up from like rapid spinning or agility or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Choice Scarf, obviously.
Definitely. Speaking of choice items, let's look at this next choice team of the Hartford Honchkrows. You want to list off their Pokemon for us?
Ah yes, we start in the S tier with Melmetal. Big, bulky, hits hard. Monosteel is just great defensive. Following that up with Blacephalon and Gliscor in A tier. Jellicent, Ribombee in the B tiers. Cofagrigus, Kingler, Passimian, and Vanilluxe in C tier. And rounding off the bottom with Mecha Obama, Chatot, and Guzzlord from D tier.
We do have a mini Hail team kind of go on here. Not an amazing Hail team, but they could help themselves a little bit.
Yeah, it's like Vanilluxe and Obama can help themselves with Hail, but there are no other Pokemon that explicitly like really make use of it.
Yeah.
And in fact, like actually, like Hail does not really play that well with Melmetal, as it will chip away at it and sort of like reduce its recovery from like leftovers, which it tends to run. It also like chips away at Gliscor, which it also doesn't like, and would make like opposing blizzards fully accurate against it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Which would kind of suck overall. However, despite that, he has some. Well, I was about to say some decent type coverage. It is decent, but he has a couple of points of weakness. Rock especially hurts.
Rock hurts, Ghost hurts, Flying hurts also.
Flying with only one resist being Melmetal is a little rough right there.
Which, it's like, yeah, Melmetal is a great switch into a Flying type, because Flying types tend not to be able to do much aside from, like, non-stab heat waves, which won't kill Melmetal. It will kill in return with just, like, you know, double Iron Bash, which just hits like a truck every time.
Yeah.
But, like, relying on Melmetal to switch into every rock move, every flying move, is not an MO that's going to win you games.
Yeah. One of the things as well is he does not have, other than Guzzlord, of course, having a ton of bulk and can also switch in on those things, which is nice with its stupid amount of HP. But other than that, he does not have a lot of Pokemon that really want to be switching into that. Cofagrigus is here. So take a couple of hits.
Cofagrigus is here. I feel Cofagrigus is usually like less bulky than you would hope.
That's true.
And will fall over faster than you expect.
Yeah.
One thing that I also find a sticking point personally is we have Gliscor for Stealth Rocks, Cofagrigus for Toxic Spikes in a pinch, and Rabambi with Sticky Webs, and that is it for hazards.
Yeah.
So like access to them isn't very wide. Like decently like specially offensive Pokemon can force out both of the like damaging hazards. And his own removal is all the Foggers and Chatot, Gliscor and Rabambi, of which like Gliscor is the best at it, and Gliscor is very good at it, but it does take up one of its moves.
Yeah.
And Gliscor is a Pokemon that suffers from 4 move syndrome a lot. It's like, what do you want Gliscor to do? Well, you want it to, you know, be able to stay out for a while, so having Roost is probably a good idea. If you're forcing it to run Defog, that's already 2 moves gone. You probably want to give it some way to beat opponents, so Toxic probably. And then like you have one less move to sort of like fill in the gap, like U-turn maybe, if you wanted to switch, but then it has no like really good attacking moves. You can go Earthquake, but then it like sits in, and if something like resists Earthquake or can't be poisoned, it starts running into problems real quick.
Yeah. But there's one thing his team does very well. It hits very hard.
It has a lot of Pokemon that hit very hard, and, you know, Melmetal, physical, very hard. Blacephalon can do whatever the fuck it wants and hit very hard. Rabambi, it's probably, I think, the fastest Pokemon in this entire division with a base 128.
That is the case, and it also hits hard, especially because it gets Quiver Dance, which is great.
Yeah, so like if this thing gets off 1 Quiver Dance, there is no single Choice Scarf user in the whole division that is going to outrun it.
Yep, Kingler cuts your hand off.
Yeah, so that can like clean out a game.
Yep.
Apart from that, like Obama Snow hits incredibly hard. And it hits hard with a good like offensive typing. But it's just so bad.
But it gets Ice Shard.
It does get Ice Shard, and it does not get to KO, and then it dies in return.
That's fair.
The fact that it is weak to a lot of priority moves, like the fighting type ones, as well as like the Bull Punch Steel one. It is neutral to like opposing Ice Shards. It is slow as heck. It is 4 times weak to Fire, who like Ice Shard is not gonna do shit against.
Yeah.
Like every Pokemon when it Mega Evolves, I think it roughly gets like 100 stats, and sometimes like it shuffles them about a little bit. In Abomasnow's case, most of those stats get split between physical and special attack, which is exactly what you don't want.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, having a mixed attacker has its merits. Like it can definitely make it like less predictable. Like, oh, like you thought it was gonna go for a Wood Hammer, but an Energy Ball came out instead, and now you're dead. That can definitely happen. But more often, it's going to leave you lacking on both sides, while not being as like bulky as you would want to be.
Yeah.
And that is definitely like I feel what Abomasnow embodies. It also can never run what is it, like Icy Rock to extend the hail for itself?
Yep.
Because it has to run the Mega Stone.
Yeah, it has to run the Mega Stone. That's some of the issues sometimes with Megas, is that you cannot extend any hail setter Megas, which is kind of a shame.
What about like weather setting? Yeah.
Or weather setting, yeah.
Yeah. Which again, it's fine because most of like the team that Jason has here doesn't really want to be in the hill anyway. Doesn't benefit too much from it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I've used it in the past. It's not been great. I love how it looks and what it does in theory. I just hate what it does in practice.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe he'll prove us wrong. I think he definitely has, like, I think he'll find ways to work with it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how this team holds its own.
Yeah, but
and how icy our opponents can get.
Yeah, we will have to find out. Also, Guzzlord at the bottom being insane with 223 HP. I cannot fathom it.
It's a lot of health.
It is a lot of health.
It's a lot of health.
It is a lot.
Anyway, do you want to introduce the next team?
Oh, you mean the famous, the one and only IDM of Brussels Espeons, with his S tier being Mew, which is really dumb because he can literally make it do anything he wants, any gimmick, anything IDM can think of, he's going to do with it. In our A tier, we have Mega Heracross and Swampert, with B tier having Bisharp and Chandelure, C tier with Alcremie, Executor, Lola, and Honchkrow, as well as Lycanroc, and rounding at the bottom is Haunter, Klinklang, and Raichu. A pretty solid team overall, honestly.
Yeah, and you know, like 2 times over champion IDM over here. Like, one of the things that always makes him a big problem to deal with for other people is like just how unpredictable he is. Like, if there is some niche 1 in a million out there answer to a Pokemon that should in theory like wipe the floor with him, he will find it. It's probably going to be Mew doing something stupid. He will bring it and he will make it work, and then you are on the floor crying.
Yeah.
So having a Pokemon like Mew in the hands of IDM brings fear to many generations of tiny orphans who don't even know what Pokemon is. Yeah,
because he can just literally, with every move possible and 100 base stats across the board, it can be anything and everything he wants it to be in preparation for any match coming up. Outside of that, IDM does struggle a little bit against water types, having only 1 resist.
Yeah, water types are definitely like the bigger problem for IDM, especially since its only resist he has for it is Alolan Executor, who gets blown out of the water by ice anyway, which most water types have as coverage. Almost by default. I can't think of a water type off the top of my head that does not have like Ice Beam or Ice Punch or Ice Fang or something along those lines.
Because even like I have Kabutops and it gets like Blizzard and Ice Beam for some reason.
A lot of like Gen 1 Pokemon get a lot of like weird coverage.
They do. It's really weird, but really cool at the same time. Either way, solid clerics, hazard setters, Mew can do anything and everything for days.
The thing I feel IDM struggles with the biggest on this team is that only Honchkrow and Mew can get rid of hazards.
Yeah.
And admittedly, those are 2 good Pokemon to do that job. But, you know, Mew having to bring Defog every week would make it a hell of a lot more predictable than it would otherwise be.
Yeah. He might not even worry about hazards at this point. He's probably just going to take it and he's just going to set up with Mew and just sweep.
Yeah. Also, Mega Heracross has the single highest attack stat in this league.
Yeah. It also gets backing weight.
85.
Yeah. By the way, his priority is insane. With many Pokemon having multiple types of attacks for like priority.
Oh yeah, there is priority for fucking everything. Like Lycanroc, so he has like that rock type priority, which is, you know, there's 2 Pokemon that get it.
There's 2.
Yeah, it's like Lycanroc Midday and Lycanroc.
Not Midnight, Dusk, I think.
Yeah.
Accelerock is great, and the Raichu's here with extreme speed, fake out, and quick attack. Mew's here with vacuum.
Whatever the fuck it wants.
Yep.
Sucker Punch, Bisharp, Sucker Punch, Honchkrow, Sucker Punch,
Haunter,
Hunter. Vacuum Wave from Heracross, which, what is this new special attack?
Probably high.
40.
Oh, never mind. Probably low.
Yeah, no, Heracross is like...
Why does it get Mach Punch?
Have you seen its hands?
These
These things don't go fast.
That's fair. I can't fault you for that. Alright.
Then again, they can create a vacuum wave, apparently, so I guess I'm talking shit.
Yep. Tons of mobility or momentum, tons of knockers and corrosive gas users. Taunt is great. Screens is anything and everything he wants it to be. IDM overall is pretty well rounded. He is the previous champion. He will probably have an amazing season. His type coverage is pretty decent with the exception of water still, and ground is weird. Ground is, he has a bunch of resistant immunities, yes, but he also has a lot of Pokemon. If they don't do that, they likely die to ground.
Yeah, like almost his whole draft like interacts with ground in some way, either resisting it or being weak to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. As another side note, IDM doesn't have Prankster for once.
That is actually crazy.
That's gonna be interesting.
Someone stole his Klefki.
Yeah, who would do that?
Now, who would do that?
Aside from that, also IDM's speed tiers.
Very
they don't.
low.
Yeah, it's like it's peaks at 112, which admittedly that thing can get Sand Rush, but he has no like Sand Setter himself.
Not with that idea.
And the next fastest thing, 110 Kling Clang.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, not Raichu.
Yeah, Raichu. I mean, Kling Kling still gets shift gear though, and it can be really fast.
It can sort of like come out of nowhere, but in general, like default, none of its Pokemon are too fast.
Yeah.
But that is sort of the like story for this whole division.
Yeah, but that's all right because he'll make it work. He'll find a way around it, and I'm certain we'll probably see him in playoffs again.
Yeah. I also feel for IDM's doing this, it's not the bulkiest team he's ever run.
It really isn't without Creamy and like what?
Chandelure is decently tough. Honchkrows is tougher than you might think.
Yeah. Kling
Clang.
A little bit of bulk there.
Yeah.
Mew can
Swampert,
be bulky.
obviously. Yeah, Swampert and Mew. But that's... like, it's not like as bulky as it's been before.
No.
Yeah. I am very, very curious as to how IDM is going to pilot this team, because if there ever is something in the shape of a wall, it is going to crumble before Mega Heracross.
Yeah, it definitely will. You know what is kind of bulky, though? Our next team. The Neerdowell Nidokings.
The Neerdowell Nidokings. If you're talking about bulk, look no further, because here we have a Corviknight, Mega Altaria, Silvally, Arcanine, Makalola, Barbarical, Runerigus, Sigilith, Tauros, Lilligant, Sock, and Semaphore, all the way down at the bottom.
Yeah, and overall,
good. Especially that fucking top half is very heavy.
Yeah.
Corviknight, Flying Steel, amazing defensive typing, good defensive stats, recovery. Just a pain in the ass to deal with in general.
Yeah, just like Silvally is with being any type that it wants it to be.
Yeah. Mega Altaria, Dragon Fairy, I'm pretty sure the only one.
Yes.
Just a very good type combination. Granted, it has a bunch of weaknesses, but like its bulk is annoying. This thing can get Cotton Guard, which gives it +3 defense stages. It gets Roost. It gets like Calm Mind, I think. It's another one of those Pokemon that can easily go mixed and perform very well doing so.
Yeah.
Pixelate, you know, good ability.
So good.
Yeah. It used to be even better. Thank fuck they nerfed that. Yeah. Any problem he might have with his team, Silvally is here to patch it up.
Yeah.
If you think like, oh, like maybe I'll go like full fucking like fire type to try and run through his team. Like, nope, Silvally's here as a water type now. Like, oh, maybe I'll go full poison. Nope, Silvally's here as a steel type now. Fuck you.
Yep.
Any problem can be patched up. Arcanine, good Intimidate user, can switch out with teleports, can recover itself. Will-O-Wisp, E-Speed is for a good priority. if we want to just fucking keep on the train of just good type combinations, Poison Dark is an insane type combination.
It is a very good.
How is it weak to anything besides ground? No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Ground is its only weakness, and it has 4 resists and 1 immunity.
Yep.
It is a very good typing.
It is a very good typing.
Yeah. Especially because, this thing is like very especially bulky. It has a surprising attack. It has 105 base.
Yeah.
And stat pursuit. I think it gets pursued.
It does get pursued, I believe.
Yeah, it does. Just very good Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really go wrong with that type combination. Barbarical, a Shell Smash user with acceptable enough speed that like once it does Shell Smash, it usually like outruns things, even notable Scarfers.
Yep.
Enough physical attack to be worthwhile, and as well as the Tough Claws ability.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, like boosts its power even further. So this thing can dish out a large amount of damage.
Yeah, Tauros is also here too. Running Scarf on Tauros with Sheer Force can be a bit scary.
Yeah. Even if its Sheer Force move pool isn't the greatest,
it still just hits hard regardless.
It still hits hard. And even then, like, it still has like Intimidate as another ability, which is just good. Anger Point is an interesting ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sigilith, the fast little weird thing. You can do some funky stuff with it.
I love Psycho Shift. Yeah.
It's like Psycho Shift Flame Orb can fuck over like any physical attacker that's coming to try and take it out.
Yep.
Don't not underestimate Tinted Lens. Tinted Lens, what it says is whenever it uses a move that is resisted by the opponent, it deals twice as much damage.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it ignores resistances.
Yeah. Also,
There are
good.
There are a few Pokemon that only get like that get this ability. They're usually like very, like.
Butterfree gets it, I think.
Offensively.
Yeah, Mega gets it, I think, too.
Yeah, Mega gets it too.
Types get it usually.
Yeah, and there's like Vivillon or something. I think gets it as well.
I think it does.
Like one of like the butterfly/mouse Pokemon gets it. I forget which one. But it's a good ability. So like if you switch in and you take way more damage than you expect, it's probably because the same brought Tinted Lens.
Mm-hmm. Also, do not discount his bottom tier. His D tier is Lilligant with Chlorophyll. It doesn't have Sun, but I mean, 110 special attack and 90 base speed. It's not that bad. Sock also with 125 base attack and 85 base speed.
Yeah, the big problem with Lilligant, it's just kind of like, okay, it has normal coverage, it has grass coverage, and now we can go to bed because this lesson's over. There is nothing else.
Yep, that's true. But the thing is that these bottom tiers kind of fill those little extra holes you might have with anything as well, because Sock hits hard. Mold Breaker is a lot of fun to mess with opponents, especially their ability reliant.
Yeah, all of Sock's abilities are actually like really good. Sturdy, if you need a Pokemon that can just like sit in the back, wait for the opponent to sort of like pull the trigger on one of its big threats, then you send this thing in. It has 30. It lives the hit and kills in return.
Yep.
Easy. Inner Focus, if you have an opponent who plans on like flinching you a lot with like feints, or maybe like a Jirachi or something. Inner Focus, you can't be flinched and you just kill the thing in return.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mold Breaker, like Cabral just said, if there's like any Pokemon reliant on like its ability, like Mimikyu or something, just bust through it. It ignores it.
Yeah.
Really good.
Simipour is base 101 speed, which is really weird to me, and it's got some decent attack and special attack at 98. So keep an eye out for that, because I think if you're not paying attention, you might get caught off guard by Simipour.
Yeah. We also have like again like the speed tier is like Tauros is 110, Simipour is 101, and from there it sort of drops off a sheer cliff. Not quite off a cliff, but like there's only like 2 Pokemon that have 3 digits in their speed, which a lot of.
Beyond that too, like what Sigilif, Arcanine, and Silvally are probably the last ones that can take advantage of some decent speed.
Yeah,
and that's about it.
So like, So like this team will have to prepare to go second a lot, which again, like we said, it's very bulky. It can without too much trouble. And it does have like a Shell Smash user among here, so like always be wary of that. Aside from that, hazards are a bit lackluster. Barbarical can set up stealth rocks, Moonbeacons can set up stealth rocks as well as toxic spikes, and that is it.
Yep. She's got a few defoggers, which is fine.
Yeah, but it's like on the hazard side, it's like 2 Pokemon which aren't great at setting up hazards, but he only means he has of setting them up.
And then on top of that, his priority being extreme speed, and Shadow Sneak is also it.
Yeah, like so Arceus has E-Speed, Muk has Shadow Sneak, and that is all the priority, which is not a great combination together with a team that is as slow as this. Like, if something is faster than his team that is sweeping him, that he cannot stop, it's over. He cannot stop it.
He also does not have a lot of momentum gain. So Parting Shot, U-Turn, Teleport, and U-Turn with Silvally, Arcanine, and Corviknight, respectively, is like all he has. So he cannot move around a lot, really.
Yeah. So the way this makes me feel is that, like, I think Kenneth will do great with momentum in his field. But if he loses momentum and it starts slipping, it is very difficult for him to regain it. He has a few ways of doing it. Muk has Pursuit.
Yeah.
I think a bunch of Pokemon get Pursuit.
It does, yeah.
Which is a very good thing to try and get momentum back with.
It is. But I think that is the case for his team. Once he loses 1 or 2 key Pokemon that make up kind of his core of the team, I think he falls apart a little bit if he's not careful.
Yeah. But again, like, it's a very bulky team, so getting to that point is a task. It is not easy.
Especially because on top of that, Sigilyph getting screens, if he just wanted to, or even Corviknight, if he wanted to set up screens, he can do that, and that's something to watch out for. And on top of that...
He has screens, he has recovery, like a lot of it too, like Corviknight gets Roost, Altaria gets Roost.
Yep.
Arcanine gets Moonlight. Sigilyph gets Roots.
Also, Sock Break, by the way, is terrifying. If you are someone who's like sets up screens and uses them and everything, because it just your screens are gone.
Yeah, Break is a good like option to have like in your back pocket. Make sure to get rid of that last thing that was causing you issues.
Yeah, but overall, I'd say he's pretty well rounded. Like type coverage, you can put some thought into, but if you can think of anything that he might get hit by, he has Silvally to back him up anywhere and anywhere he wants.
Yeah, like there's nothing, like he's already not weak to any one thing in particular anyway. And if he does feel like shoring up a defense of any side, then Silvally's there to do it.
Yeah.
So definitely a well-rounded team. Again, I think it'll be very interesting to see how it's played, because I think like with these speed tiers, with this bulk, it's gonna be like an interesting game. Not quite like I'm used to, because I'm just sort of like a fan of just going fast and hitting things. Which I feel is reflected in my team.
Yeah. Well, you know what is a very interesting team I'm looking forward to seeing?
Is it the next team on our list?
It is the next team on our list, because there's some hail in Nihilus's team of the Dallas Duckletts, if you want to... Wait, did you list off the last ones? You did. It's my turn. we have Mega Blastoise, terrifying abomination of a Pokemon in S tier, followed by Alola Ninetales and Scizor in A tier, with Arctozolt and Empoleon in B tier. C tier has Archeops, Dragalge, I don't know, Dragalge? Whatever it is. Dragalag, Gligar, and Metachan in C tier, and at the bottom we have Ice-Hue, Alolan Sandslash, and Spiritomb. And Hail, which I had last season, is a lot of fun, and I feel like I did not take proper advantage of it because I had like 2 Pokemon that took advantage of it. Unlike Nihilus.
Did you have like Rain as well?
Last year? No, that was the year before. This year I have 2 types.
Time goes so fast.
It does go so fast.
Mega Blastoise is an interesting Pokemon. I have won a league with this before, and I'm very happy that I did. It's a 3. very good Pokemon. It's like, it's doesn't have any single set which blinks out really like above anything else. It is very bulky, very difficult to kill in one shot, especially because it doesn't have a 4x weakness, it's just pure water.
Yep.
But like its special attack gets boosted so much by Mega Launcher. It has like perfect coverage for it. Like one thing you have to be careful with is that Blastoise going special. Water Pulse is a straight upgrade over Surf, which has a chance to confuse. So be wary of that.
Yeah,
That like confusion can come out of this thing when you least expect it and when it fucks you up the most.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, like, you know, it can't use Shell Smash, by the way. Important note.
Yeah, keep going.
Because that would just be absolutely busted. But aside from that, like, it can Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards. It has coverage for days. It gets Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, Water Pulse, all of which get boosted by Mega Launcher. You know, just pure water is a very good defensive typing, and fine offensively, not the greatest. But Mega Launcher makes it pretend like it has stab anyway. It's just very good. It can even, I think it gets Blizzard off the top of my head, but if it does, then it can use that. Because Nihilus has a rain team here, which we, you know, as setter, it has Ninetales Alola. You know, comes in, Snow Warning, it's Snow Tail. Can set up Aurora Veil without too much issue. Fast. Gets Freeze Dry, I'm fairly sure.
What does?
Ninetales.
Oh, it does get
Alola.
Freeze Dry. Yeah, Freeze Dry is stunning. Yeah, that's one of the things is his Hail team is really solid overall, honestly. Like, Alola Ninetales with Screens is great. Ice Fairy is not the greatest typing, but it's a very fun typing.
It's not the greatest typing defensively, but offensively it kicks ass.
It does. Arctozolt and Ice-Q and Sandslash being like ice Pokemon, and Sandslash taking advantage of Hail is great, and Arctozolt is stunning on this team.
Yeah, Arctozolt is a Pokemon that, like, even without Hail, it is already very good.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if you switch against it and it clicks on Bolt Beak, it is nuking something.
Yeah.
Bolt Beam is a famous old combination of Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, which is just very, like, difficult to resist, both electric and ice. Because everything that resists ice is weak to electric, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So like that, having that as a stab combination is very powerful. It just has like good moves to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely does. Also, Empoleon, we didn't talk about this in our other stuff. I think is a very fun typing that kind of gets overlooked sometimes.
Yeah, Water Steel is a very good typing as well. It's sort of like doubles down on the fucking like already like pure ice type of or water type of Blastoise.
Yep.
So we are like sort of stacking up weaknesses to the same thing here, which is a problem we'll get into in a moment. It's also another steel type because we also already have Scissor here.
Yeah. We do have Archeops, and that's a weird pick for Hail team because chip damage defeatist, not fun.
Yeah, Archeops does not play well with a Hail team in general, but it can sort of like come in, gain momentum, do sort of like one or two attacks if it needs to like get a kill.
Mm-hmm.
It is very difficult to. It's a fun Pokemon to use, definitely, but like its weaknesses are like very like open and blatant to the world. Like it wears them on its sleeve, definitely.
Yeah, and then Gligar also being ground flying on an ice team is so interesting.
Yeah, Gligar is a bit weird because it tends to really want to run that Eviolite to boost its defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't tend to run the leftovers for recovery, which means that the Hail will also chip it as well, which isn't ideal. Because it doesn't have, contrary to Gliscor, it does not have Poison Heal, it only has immunity.
Yeah. Speaking of immunities, I don't know if you noticed this on the type chart matchup. Ghost has no
Yeah.
immunities or resistances on his whole team, and that's something he's got to keep an eye out for, is people coming in and setting up with some ghost Pokemon and sweeping.
Yeah, Ghost is an extremely threatening thing for Nihilus to deal with here, because the only type he has that interacts with it is Medicham being weak, and that's it. No resists, no immunities because of no normal typing here.
Yeah, and fire also kind of punched a hole through him.
Yeah, like we have Blastoise to take fire hits, Archeops to take a fire hit. It's not bulky, and it will be in defeat's range like within a hit. And Dragalge, who is like slow, so it'll like take a hit and then have to live like a second.
Yeah.
Not the ideal things to be taking those hits with. So funnily enough, like usually a lot of teams tend to have trouble with ice types. Nihilus does not.
No,
Nihilus
he does not.
nearly like Omni resists ice, except for 3 Pokemon weak to it and 1 neutral.
Yeah, and no one's likely going to bring ice against him anyways, because he's running all ice, so, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, ice versus ice, so like it's still a decent option.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
yeah, like ice is not Nihilus's problem, not by a long shot. But
Ground
definitely that.
can also be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, Ground is weird because he has 2 immunities to it. Again, Archeops and Gligar. But since Archeops and Gligar are already like the 2 Pokemon that type-wise vary the most on his team, they are responsible for taking a lot of hits. And they are gonna get worn down.
Yeah.
Aside from types and type coverage and that jazz,
He does have plenty of Aurora Veil users, and honestly, it's a really good thing to grab for his team.
oh, for sure. There is like Aurora Veil on 1, 2, 3 Pokemon, one of which sets up Hail itself. So
Yeah.
that's not gonna be a big deal. And definitely like having Aurora Veil up for his team will be a big boon, because it is not the sturdiest. I mean, there's like a bunch of like very bulky Pokemon in here. Blastoise is very good, Scizor is very good. Empoleon can be very good, Dragalge can be surprising, Gligar is decent. But like all of them do get a significant boost from being behind the screen.
They
Aside from
definitely
that though,
do.
like, yeah, hazard-wise, we have a lot of Stealth Rocks, some spikes and some Toxic Spikes, so he has access to like most of them. And a few good setters at that. Empoleon sets them up very well, Gligar sets them up very well. But getting the actual like spikes and Toxic Spikes out there is gonna be a bit of a challenge. He can be confident with both like Blastoise and a hail boosted Sandslash that he can rapid spin rather than defog. That should not be too big a deal, because like the counterplay to rapid spin usually is sending in a ghost type. If a ghost type appears in front of Mega Blastoise, it is going to get blown away by Dark Pulse. So it is not that scared of it.
Yeah, it really isn't that scared. Overall,
Aside from that, we have like plenty of priority to go around.
we do.
We have a bunch of things to gain momentum, a lot of like flip turn and U-turning. Knockoff, can knock off plenty of things. A lot of like weird Pokemon get it, like Empoleon and Gligar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how the fuck a penguin's gonna like knock anything out of your hands, but you know, it does.
Yeah. Overall, though, with the amount of speed and just power and the joys of Hail, I think Nihilus has a fairly solid team. He's just got to keep an eye out for his weaknesses, and if he can work around those, I think he's got a really good chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah. I think it's a double-edged thing anyway, because like I think if your weakness is very like bare and obvious, it's also more obvious like what your opponent is gonna do. It's like, oh, like my opponent has, let's say, Blacephalon. You can bet your ass that thing is coming, and it's probably gonna be fast.
Yeah, definitely is. But speaking of fast, how about our next team?
Probably one of the fastest teams in this whole league. We have the Cincinatti Cyndaquils as piloted by Dom, running Mega Tyranitar, Azelf, Klefki, Salazzle, Zygarde 10%, Lapras, Stoutland, Swoobat, Vikavolt, Fairy, Dusclops, and Roselia. All in all, probably like the fastest average team out of anyone, with 3 Pokemon being like 114 or faster. 4 Pokemon even.
Actually, yeah.
The big issue just being with it, 1 Pokemon, Zubat is 114, Zygarde 10, and Azelf are 115, and Celos is 117, so it's all clumped very close together. Which means like a single Pokemon is just like a 10-bit faster beats all of them in one go. Which we do have in whatever like the Bug Fairy thing was called. Rabambi. That's what it was. Like that thing is gonna, it outspeeds everything and poses a big problem. But that is not the only speed we have here, because Tyranitar setting Sand in combination with Stoutland in the back. Stoutland gets Sand Rush, which is another very good ability. Yeah, the thing is, we have seen Stoutland used with Sand in the past. It's good, but it tends to miss out on a lot of kills that it really needs to get. So it ends up getting like hit and return and knocked out anyway. So Stoutland is definitely like a late game thing.
One of the hard things with it too, because it absolutely, I think once you knock out a few key Pokemon your opponent has, Stoutland coming in and sweeping the rest, it does great at. But the problem, I think, is that Mega T-Tar having only its Mega Stone, it doesn't take full advantage of a full 7-turn Sand set.
Yeah, it's the same problem we had with Mega Snow before, that because it can't run the stone to extend its terrain, abusing it becomes harder. Granted, with Stoutland, it's kind of also signing to people like, hey, this is not the main goal of this team. Like, if you wanted to be the main goal of your team, you would have picked like a different Sandrush user like Lycanroc midday, like earlier.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, his hazard setting is stunning.
Oh, there are a lot of hazards, mostly stealth rocks.
Mostly
but also
rocks.
Like spikes. Mostly also spikes from Klefki, who sets them very well. Spikes and toxic spikes from Exelia, who can set them decent well. And sticky webs from Vikavolt. So definitely this is the team that is looking to play with speed the most, in my opinion.
Klefki Prankster is, I think, a very good pick for this team, and I think helps fill some of those little holes and issues here and there.
Yeah.
Getting paralysis is really nice on your opponents. You also get toxic if you really need it. Setting up screens is great. Having a taunt user as well is really just nice.
Yeah, Klefki, the utility that Klefki offers every time, it's just you can bet on this thing not taking too much damage, because like if you are standing in front of it with say a Typhlosion, it's just gonna set up a Prankster light screen before the fire type move goes off. So you take like neutral damage anyway.
Yeah.
So despite like its stats not really pointing to it, this thing is more difficult to kill in the teams. And it's like that added bulk from like screens. Every Pokemon on this team appreciates it immensely.
It definitely does. I think, and the thing is too, looking at his type coverage, he's pretty well-rounded with no obvious like, oh, I'll hit with this. A couple things here and there. I think Ghost he can get hit by a bit, but it's like, it's not terribly obvious what to hit him with right away.
Yeah, Ghost and Electric I feel are the biggest open avenues that there are. And even then, like anything that hits Tyranitar like on the special side, like even neutrally, it's not gonna do a fucking thing, because Tyranitar base, what is it? 120 special defense, which gets boosted by 50% because of Sandstorm.
Yeah, so 180.
It's insane. This thing can be like as bulky as Chansey is occasionally.
Yep, with 100 base HP too on top of that.
Yeah, this thing does not die easily. You're gonna like have to hit it with a strong stat fighting type move, and even then you have to work through 150 defense.
Yeah.
Like definitely run your calcs beforehand, because Tyranitar, it's not gonna let you just like run it over.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see what he does this season. I think he just plays his cards right. He's got a very solid team to deal with a lot of opponents.
Yeah, it's very well rounded.
Mhm.
One thing I do still want to note is that while the hazard setting is very strong, the hazard removing leaves something to be desired because it's only defog from Klefki and Swoobat.
Yeah.
Which, again, Klefki is very good at it. But it is like another thing that you're putting like on the burden of Klefki.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets rid of your own stuff, excluding screens, I think.
Yeah, it does not get rid of screens. It gets rid of your own rocks and spikes, which we already know Dom sets all that stuff up really well, so...
Yeah, so like it's definitely going to be a question of like defog then try and set up.
See, he's just got to use Mimic and then, or Copycat, and then he's just got to grab Rapid Spin from an opponent, and then he's solid.
Yeah, he's going to need an opponent who has those options, though.
I know. It's very niche.
You know who doesn't have those options?
Who?
The next team.
Oh, you're talking about the Reno Rapidash, one of our new teams this season.
I'm talking about yeah.
Well,
you want to run down our list?
Well, of course I do. Reno Rapidash has such an interesting team. Coached by Ghost, of course, with Jirachi at S tier, Latias and Shaman at A tier, Celebi and Mimikyu in B tier, Articuno, Chinchino, Driftblim, and Mesprit are in C tier, with D tier rounding out at Glaceon, Mawile, and Plusle. And I think I've noticed something. I don't know if you noticed this, but I wanna see if you noticed the fact that 3 Pokemon have base 100 stats across the board on this team.
Yeah, we have Jirachi, who is a pseudo. It's not pseudo legendary. It's mythical.
It's mythical.
Yeah, Jirachi has a mythical, Shaman has a mythical, and Celebi has a mythical.
Yeah. With Shaman and Celebi kind of overlapping quite a bit with both Natural Cure, Grass, and Psychic Celebi.
And Jirachi has a Psychic typing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Latias has a Psychic typing as well. And Mesprit has a Psychic typing as well.
Yeah.
And Mimikyu as a ghost. And what's the other ghost? Driftblim as the other ghost.
Yep.
The holes in the scene become very rapidly apparent.
With namely, a lot of ghost weakness.
Yeah, there is 6 ghost weaknesses, 5 dark weaknesses, and
one also 6 fire weaknesses, by the way.
Yeah.
So, a bit rough to work around, but
yeah, the more bulky Pokemon here. Articuno?
Glaceon?
Glaceon is not only has base 60 HP.
Yeah,
I think Articuno and Latias together are gonna have to pull a lot of weight.
But what about the base 100 stat Pokemon?
Base 100 is a very good, just stat line to have. It's a good speed tier, it's a good base 100 HP. It's a very important threshold because it makes your substitutes have 101 HP, which makes them not break the Seismic Toss.
That's
or
true.
Nightshade, if something runs Nightshade.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it hits a very important threshold.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's also not outstanding in anything. It's sort of middling offensively. It's very good bulky, it's just middling offensively. Jirachi can do the whole, Thunder Wave, Iron Head flinch strategy. With that 60% chance to flinch, 25% chance to lose your turn due to paralysis. Then just hoping to God that you get to play the game. It can definitely sort of cheese out a bunch of opponents that way. That it would usually lose to 1v1. But aside from that, this seems type coverage is on the very rough end.
Yeah. With a few Stealth Rockers, Stealth Rockers can get set up just fine. Again, is this entire division just only Defog?
No, Spoot has Rapid Spinners.
Yeah, so does Nihilist, but it seems like a lot of them just only have Defog for some reason.
Yeah, it's by far the more common of the two.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Plenty of clerics for days.
Yeah, Shaman, Articuno, Celebi, Glaceon, and Jirachi all knowing some combination of Aromatherapy, Healing Wish, Heal Bell.
And almost every Pokemon having a priority move.
Yeah, weirdly. Almost all of it is Sucker Punch for some reason. Even
yeah.
on things where you wouldn't expect it, like Celebi.
Mm-hmm.
Which, don't underestimate Sucker Punch on Celebi. Again, base 100 attack, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think
and-
screens will have to be necessary, which we do have quite a few screen setters.
Yeah. There definitely is sort of like the theory of weakness like exhaustion. Because like a lot of Ghost teams share like the same typing. So like once you've gotten rid of your opponent's like 1 or 2 Pokemon that deal with that typing well, suddenly they're broken wide open and like a lot of your team can go in.
Yeah.
At the start, I think I want to say of Gen 6, a very popular team was just Bird Spam. It was a team with just like almost exclusively flying types. This was before heavy duty boots were a thing, so like this was good even while they were weak to Stealth Rocks.
Yeah.
Because like flying resists were so few and far between, a team with like almost exclusively flying types, like once it broke through that resist and or like Pokemon that dealt with it well, suddenly like tore the rest to shreds, especially like Mega Pinsir.
Yeah.
And I feel that Ghosts can definitely like apply the same theorem here.
You can definitely look at that. I think one of the things is thinking back to like the rest, because the thing is, there is playoffs and everything also, and there are some heavy hitting Ghost Pokemon there. But in this division, how many Ghost Pokemon are there?
Blacephalon.
Blacephalon will tear this
Blacephalon
team
is
apart.
going to eat this team to fucking. No, Blacephalon is not a fun thing for this team to do.
It is not.
It's like, oh yeah, we have Latias as the one fire resist who gets blown up by Shadow Ball.
Yeah.
And we have Cincino as the one ghost immunity that gets blown up by Fireball.
Yeah.
So definitely for that fight, be wary. You have a lot of Sucker Punch users who do like put a huge dent into Blacephalon, so
Yeah.
take that for what it is. You have counterplay.
You do have some counterplay. You gotta work with it, and you do have screens as well to take advantage of. Do not misuse your screens. That they're going to be, I think, vital.
Yeah, and honestly, like the base 100s, base 110 from Latias and base 115 from Cincino, puts this team also in contention for like fastest like across the board.
Probably is fast, because here's the thing. Mawile is the slowest Pokemon here at 50, then it's Glaceon, then everything is 80
Yeah. Yeah, actually, like, averagely, like, this team probably is the fastest, so you can count, on, for the most part, going first. And that is something you're most definitely going to be wanting to use to your advantage here.
Yeah.
Like, keep momentum in your park. Like, try and like chip things down to the point where you can OHKO them and, you know, be faster, kill them. That's how Pokemon works.
That is how Pokemon works. And speaking of how Pokemon works, well, this is a segue to our last team, so we can round this out.
Wait, this segue on 2 wheels leaning forward, going straight into the Minnesota Jynx?
Yeah.
Who have the other version of Tyranitar, Dracozolt, the other version of Scizor, Nidoking, Reuniclus, Gourgeist, Mantine, Regirock, Swallow, Double, and Heatmore, and Primeape all as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, very funny that like this one division has both T-Tar, Mega T-Tar, Scizor, and Mega Scizor.
Yeah, it is really funny that happened to be the case. Which, by the way, Tyranitar, Dracozolt, Sandrush, terrifying.
Yeah, that combination is powerful.
The first
And
4
Dracozolt-
Pokemon here.
Yeah, the first 4 Pokemon here are offensively... Ouch. It's a lot. Actually, come to it. Does fucking Tyranitar even gain any attack once it Mega Evolves? Or does it just get special attacks? Like, never noticed that. We'll check later. Yeah, but like Tyranitar hits incredibly hard. Dracozolt, only 100 attack. Volbeak hurts a lot, especially in Sandrush. Mega Scizor, Tactician, 150 base attack. What more do you need to say? Nidoking, special attack is milling, but with sheer force. Ouch.
Yeah.
That's a lot to deal with already, honestly.
It really is a lot to deal with already. It's a lot of attack and some decent defense here too.
Yeah, does Sandrush make you immune to the Sandstorm as well?
Sandrush?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think it does. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, these first 3 Pokemon all like the Sandstorm and don't buffet from it.
Mm-hmm.
And T-Tar even gains that special attack, a special defense boost, like we mentioned.
Hey, so does Regirock.
So does Regirock, which actually does make it a lot better.
Yeah.
Because like it already has base 200 defense, you don't need to invest more into that, and now like its base 100 special defense gets boosted to fucking stupid numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot. It does like offensively fall off like a sheer cliff almost after Reuniclus.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean like there's a bunch of like base 100s. Primeape has a base 105, and it's really it.
Heatmore's got 105 special attack.
Yeah, but actually, honestly, very looking forward to Heatmore a lot.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It's a Pokemon I keep considering. I keep thinking like, yeah, maybe I'll use it next time, and then I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I have that with a bunch of Pokemon. It's just because I tend to pick these types in higher tiers. Yeah, but it has like funky coverage. It has like Giga Drain, Flame Lash, which I don't think it's unique to it. I think a few Pokemon get it now, but it's fun because it reduces physical defense.
Mm-hmm.
There is a bunch of stuff you can do here.
Yeah, there definitely is. Do you have some defoggers to get rid of any hazards? But again, back to the whole defog thing.
And also like it's good defoggers. Mantine can do it fairly reliably. Scissor can do it very well. Swallow, one of the fastest things we have here.
Yep. Quite a few Stealth Rock users, great Stealth Rock users actually, and Toxic Spice from Nidoking is great.
Yep. Nidoking is the only thing that gets up the spikes, and Rock and Tyranitar, like along with King, get up the Stealth Rocks. So like getting those up is not a big deal.
Yeah.
One thing worthy of note though is type coverage again. It's a little bit weaker on the Rock side of things this time around, with Mantine, Swallow, and Heatmore all being weak to it.
Ice as well.
And only Nidoking and Primates
resisting.
Ice, another like big issue, because Scissor and Heatmore resist that one. And Dragon being very like weird, because Dragosoul is weak to it, Scissor resisted, and nothing else. Everything else is just neutral.
Yeah.
So I feel like Scissor defensively takes a lot of hits for this team.
It does.
Which it is capable of doing. It can recover too, and it tends not to get like OHKO'd or even 2-hit KO'd by like non-stat things.
Mm-hmm.
And like its only actual weakness is fire.
Yeah.
Which is not the easiest coverage to get for a lot of things.
Yeah, it's not. But I think if you pair it off well, also a bit of a ground weakness, but Rock and Ice, if you like kind of overlap those, you hit quite a bit of this team overall.
Yeah, and like to cover for Mega Scissors fire weakness, there are a lot of things that are more than willing to switch into this.
Yeah.
Tyranitar doesn't mind. Then again, if it gets burned, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Dracozolt doesn't mind, but if it gets burned, it sucks. Mantine easily takes it. Regirock easily takes it. And I guess it sucks if it gets burned, but it tends to run Seismic Toss anyway.
Yeah, but also one of our new players. I'm very excited to see how this goes and how they use their team. I'm just excited to see Double Dip Draft take off in general.
Yeah, I expect Mega Scissor to be on the field for this team a lot.
Yeah, T-Tar Dracozolt I can also see being there a lot too.
Yeah, but I mean, just like Scissor like patches up too many of the team's weaknesses to not see play basically every week.
Yeah,
like I think
sure.
everyone that faces the Jynx are gonna have to prepare for Scissor.
Agreed. And on that note, any last things we want to round out for this team before we end the video?
I think, in general, this division is stacked as hell for one.
Yeah.
A lot of heavy hitters are here. A lot of like people that have been like in contention for top play. I think F1 has actually like been in contention for at least like making it to playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And then two new faces that we'll have to see how they fare. Like if you can prove your mettle here, you make a big name for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Even like if you do well as a new team, or even like coming back like Nihilus or Dom, if you do well here, you're likely going to be doing well in future seasons, and people are going to expect a lot out of you.
Yeah. Can I just say, I am so hyped to see Nihilus again.
Yeah.
Nihilus was this close to making playoffs last time. It was a very fun team, I might add.
I stole it.
I feel this time around his team is stronger than it was last time. I hope for him obviously that he like learned lessons and strategies to like apply from last time and put him here.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing some big upsets coming out of them.
I do.
I believe. I believe in the Duckletts.
I think anyone and everyone here is capable of some crazy upsets if they're not careful. I'm very excited. Platinum Division, I think, is probably going to be one of the most fun to watch. Not that Pearl Division is going to be a lot of fun to watch, but I think Platinum is going to be very in depth and very high stakes.
Yeah. I also like definitely look forward to seeing like how this tier or how this division is going to be playing with speed, because every team has all of its speed so clumped together.
It does.
Like most of the fastest Pokemon on each team tie one another, with like Rabambi being like the biggest outcast.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll have to wait and see how all that does this coming week, because this is the first week of matches that'll be happening soon.
Very excited for it. There's so much to look forward to. A whole season of possibilities and wonder and magic and disappointment and betrayal.
You'll have to be here and join us for all those moments, but that's about all the time we have for today, because we could keep going on for likely another hour at this, but I have places to be, you have places to be, or probably sleep. And I think that about covers it for the Platinum Division. I'm so excited to see where this goes and to look into the match recaps when we get into those later.
Definitely hyped. So look forward to the end of the week, probably, when we are going to be making the recaps after all the matches have happened, and dig deeper into what went well, what went less well, what people can sort of do to maybe like do something like about the weaknesses. Keep in mind if there are like things that we notice here that you didn't notice yourself, and are like, maybe I can patch it up. It is still definitely possible to trade with other people.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, oh, like my ghost weakness is very big, maybe I can look into trading like a dark type with somebody else.
Yep. Just remember, you can only trade from tier to tier, so just keep that in mind when you go ahead and do that.
Same tiers only.
But that's about it. I want to thank all of you for joining, and I look forward to seeing the rest of how the season goes. I hope you do as well, and be sure to join us for the recaps and for anything else going on.
See ya.